Hey there everyone, my name is Dr. Sarah Andreas, and today we are wrapping up the Questions That Can Change Your Life series. And the first question that we started this series off with was, 10 years from now, if I was living my perfect life, what would it look like? Then we had the twofer question, how can I be wrong and what else could this be? Then the last question we had was, on my 90th birthday, what kind of descriptions and words do I want people to use when they're talking about me? And each of those questions in their own way can start you on a path to change your life. And I love that. So today, the final question is, should I change my story? And a lot of us think that our story is set in stone. That the story that we know, that either it's I'm successful or I'm struggling, whatever story it is that you tell yourself, we start to believe it. And we believe that that's the only story. When the reality is each story that we have could have multiple, you heard me right, multiple stories that go along with that exact same story. So for example, one of the stories that I often tell myself is that I'm stubborn. And I know that should shock you guys, but that story, I can play it two different ways. I can play that story as I'm stubborn and that's a bad thing because it doesn't allow me to be flexible. Or I can play that same exact story as I'm stubborn and that's a good thing because it lets me stand firm when there's something I really believe in. See how that story just fluctuates just a tiny bit? Well, the same thing can happen with any story that we're telling ourselves. It could be, it makes us successful or it's holding us back. But here's the key. You have to take a look at the stories. You have to understand what the descriptions are and what those narratives are that are playing through your head, because often they're at an unconscious level. And in my unconsciousness, I could play the story that I'm stubborn and that means I can't be flexible, when the reality is that I'm stubborn when it's important, but most of the time I can be flexible. See, same story, two different outcomes. So here's what I'd like for you to do. Take some time this week and try to identify what are your underlying stories. Maybe it's I'm not good enough. Maybe it's I am too old, too young, too small, too short. Whatever those stories are, examine them and understand and decide if the story's serving you, great, keep it. If the story's holding you back, change it. It can really allow you to change your life. All right, I'll see you guys next week and we'll be starting a new series.